Greetings YouTube, once again another exciting video. Well, it's exciting because you have here is a signed Babe Ruth baseball. This is the, prized possession of many a collector out there, but what many a collector out there do not realize is that their prized collectible is a fake. It's not real. And just by looking at this picture, you can see that the ball is in, very good condition. Don't forget, Babe Ruth died a long time ago, people. Balls from that time, baseballs, do not survive in this kind of condition for that long a period of time. So, this would be a museum quality piece if it was real. It would be worth literally, 15 grand if it was real. However, and that's just a very conservative estimate. Who knows how much something like this would get an auction if it was real in that kind of condition. But anyway, what you see here is also another typical letter of authenticity from Who PSA DNA. And that's enough for most people to consider it a real thing, even though time after time they have been shown to be fake. So now here's the new twist that I've been telling people about, and PSA DNA will admit to it in court, but they won't admit to it to you. Surprisingly, they won't tell you about it. You have to find out about it from me and a select few other people. And then this photo, I like to give a shout out to Rita Farlow from the St. Petersburg Times. It's down in Florida. And what you have here is the picture from their website. I'll put the link below. It's, read the caption for the picture, which was nicely done here. Largo police are holding this baseball with its phony Babe Ruth autograph and fraudulent certification letter as evidence in a case against 40-year-old Marc A. Szakaly of Land O'Lakes. He's charged with organized fraud, accused of selling at least 35 of the balls throughout the state. At least 35. And that's just in Florida, people. I'll put the link below. This is actually hosted on TampaBay.com, and it appeared in the St. Petersburg Times. It says here, phony Babe Ruth autograph leads to organized fraud charge by Rita Farlow, Times staff writer. Then it says here, read it for yourself if you don't want to hear me reading it for you. Because I know some of you can't read, obviously, because you're not buying, you don't know how to buy a vowel, so obviously you can't read then. Anyway, because I have to do this over and over. It's getting boring, people. I'm getting bored. I got to keep saying the same stuff over and over and over and over again. There's nothing new. It's always the same thing. It's fake, it's a fraud, it's a scam. There's nothing new. There's nothing to see here, people. You stop sitting there on the couch doing nothing and do something. Report these fools. They do get arrested. It's simple. It's a fact. Listen carefully, if you can. So, the man who drove, it's from Largo, so the man who drove up to the pawn shop in SUV in October had a sad story. He was a real estate investor suffering from the dismal economy and needed to part ways with a beloved souvenir. Boo-hoo. His baseball signed by the legendary Babe Ruth, said sales clerk Lisa Matassa. The signature was beautiful and a certificate of authenticity showed it was a real deal. Matassa's boss offered the man $1,500. Like I keep telling you, this stuff gets my blood boiling. It's hard to remain calm. I apologize. Anyway, let's continue. It wasn't until March that the employees at Pawn Mart at 12,499 Seminole Boulevard found out the ball was bogus. A snowbird who wanted it for his son asked if it could be recertified. Now, this individual is smart, people. I don't know if some of you are aware what a snowbird is. That's what Floridians call northerners who come down to Florida, for vacation, or who have a second home in Florida. They're called snowbirds, especially considering they mostly come down during the wintertime. When it's cold up north, they all head down to Florida. I know because I used to live in Florida for over 3 years. Anyway, so, the snowbird wanted it recertified, so Pawn Mart sent the ball off to PSA DNA Authentication Services in California, the company that had penned the first certificate, except it hadn't. It was a fraudulent document made to accompany the forged baseball, Largo police said. Now, I'd like to add another editorial here, like I keep telling you. They will never tell you that even the certificates are being counterfeited. I've been telling people that for years, and nobody believed it, and I keep showing you. Pay attention, people. Except it hadn't. It was a fraudulent document, period, made to accompany the forged baseball. The man who sold the ball gave a copy of his thumbprint and used his real driver's license during the transaction. Police quickly identified him. Thank goodness they could. Kudos to the Largo Police Department for quickly identifying him, since they had his driver's license and thumbprint. Because in some areas it doesn't happen fast. Believe me, I know. Anyway, a shout out to the Largo Police Department and all the officers involved with this case. Police quickly identified him as 40-year-old Marc A. Szakaly, 40, of 5052 Balsam Drive in Land O'Lakes. Anybody live in that area? Please let me know. Send me PM. After a 5-month investigation that led Largo Police Detective Diane LaFrance all across the state, Szakaly was arrested Wednesday and charged with organized fraud. It's organized fraud because he drove all over the state selling fake balls to one pawn shop after another. I call him the pawn bandit because that's what his prime target was. He was released Thursday from Pasco County Jail on a $50,000 bond. Police said they discovered Szakaly sold at least 35 phony autographed baseballs to pawn shops as far away as the Panhandle and the east coast of Florida over the past year. Don't forget, it was a 5-month investigation. Pay attention, people. He sold about 8 or 9 each in Pinellas and Hillsborough counties, said Largo Police spokesman Lieutenant Mike Liu. Apologize if I said your name wrong. Pawn dealers spend $500 to $3,000 for the balls. Every single one was a forgery, just not the balls, but the letters too. And this is a direct quote said by PSA DNA President Joe Orlando. So this is not a speculation. This is not a theory. It's a fact. These certificates are being forged as well. And thanks for PSA DNA and Mr. Joe Orlando for letting the collectors out here in the real world know about it. Thanks for letting us know that your cases that you get the cards graded in are being counterfeited as well. So not only are the cards being counterfeited, but the cases are. And thanks for them for letting us know, but they won't. They'll only let the police know and law enforcement know. But to all you and me, we're supposed to be their bread and butter, but they could care less about us because they're not informing us. So please ask them next time you see them at the National, because I know some of you did. I've seen the video, so I know what happened. And unfortunately, I can't post those videos. Believe me, I'd love to, so you can see for yourself what these idiots have to say for themselves. You would not believe it. So I suggest you try it yourself and see what they say to you. And maybe you'll believe it then. Maybe you'll get up off the couch or off the chair or off the plastic crate you're sitting on and do something about it. I've been doing these videos for years now, people. For years. 3 years almost now. And it's about time something happens. Not enough is happening because not enough of you are doing anything about it. And I'd like to congratulate everybody out there who is making their own PSAs. Because if you're noticing, they are appearing with more frequency than ever now. And a big shout out to all of you. And if you would like me to, I will put your link down below. Even if I don't know you, never seen your videos before, never talked to you, I'll put your link down below if you ask. Just let me know. Send me a PM. Thank you. Anyway, let's continue. Like I said, stuff gets my blood boiling. If you see my face now, I mean, it's getting red. And it's a great adrenaline rush, too, because, you know, I don't need any, you know, stimulants or anything. Because, believe me, I'm stimulated now. Anyway, Ruth, the longtime New York Yankee, also known as the Bambino, was among the first players inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's one of the most widely sought autographs of all celebrities, Orlando said. And that's referring to Joe Orlando of PSA DNA. That's the symbol of all autograph collecting. He was an amazing athlete, and he really represented the American dream from virtual poverty to becoming the most famous, not just baseball player, but most famous person in America, Orlando said. He also had a distinctive signature considered aesthetically pleasing to collectors. Balls with Ruth's signature in excellent condition can fetch well over $100,000. And mid-grade balls can go for $10,000 to $20,000 and up, Orlando said, which was what I said a moment ago. If you were paying attention. Pay attention, people. If we're talking about the ball your dog used as a chew toy, something like that, we're still talking a few $1,000s, he said. Orlando said it appears Szakaly would rough up newer balls to make them look old, and that if he had tried to sell the balls in mint condition, it's likely the ruse would be discovered sooner. I think the idea here is he was trying to stay under the radar, Orlando said. Well, like I said, it wasn't discovered sooner because not enough people complained. Not enough people complained, maybe, perhaps, mayhaps, obviously. Largo police worked with the Office of Statewide Prosecution and 19 other law enforcement agencies in 15 Florida counties to bring the organized fraud charge, Lou said. And that's the lieutenant from the Largo police, who's the spokesman. That's it. You would know that if you were paying attention. I know some of you are poor and you can't afford to pay attention, but please try. It's not that difficult. And if you'd like, I'd give you a few dollars if you'd ask. Anyway, it's unclear if the baseballs were sold outside the state. Authorities are still investigating. We're confident there's a lot more of them out there, Lou said. Orlando said there are 3 rules that buyers should always rely on when dealing in expensive memorabilia. Check the seller's references. Make sure the item is really certified by a reputable expert. And avoid the deals that seem obviously unbelievably good. Too bad Mr. Orlando doesn't get that out more often. That and a few other things I need to talk about. Even some of the stuff that's not controversial, just like that. If a deal looks too good to be true, it probably is, he said. There are no steals anymore. Except if you go on eBay every once in a while, there are some killer items that are legit that are for sale for unbelievably low prices. As in real estate right now, if you want to buy real estate, it doesn't matter where in the country. I mean, you know, outside of high-end neighborhoods. But even in the high-end neighborhoods, you know, I know somebody who had a $1.5 million condo and he recently sold it for under $800,000. So, I mean, he's, you know, really in the doldrums over that. But, you know, there's a lot of, you know, real estate out there that's, you know, even, I'm talking new real estate outside of Vegas. There's, I mean, even, you know, in the city limits of Vegas, you know, I mean, technically it's in the city limits. You could buy a brand new, never lived in house for $100,000. And I'm talking complete, fully, you know, I mean, it's not like a half-built, unfinished handyman special. I'm talking about a brand new house with, you know, stainless steel, chrome, and marble, or granite at least, and, you know, for $100,000. Brand new house with a yard, little yard and everything.